think you were sharing about how during the pandemic, a lot of people find it really difficult to separate work and life. How do you have team bonding activities for your team, and also on psychological safety? I think now that a lot of meetings are done virtually, we don't get to meet up with the team as often as we'd like in person. How do you manage to get team members closer to one another?
Yeah, I would say like we're all learning as we are going around this, especially because, everyone is struggling so much, right? I'll give you like three things that sort of we have found so far. One is that when you have these happy hour kind of events, right, they don't seem to be as effective. They soon lose out steam, right? Because it's really hard to do it virtually, and maybe there'll be better technology and so on, but it just doesn't seem to have like the same kind of effect as in real life. Instead, I think it's much more important to take time during your regular meeting interactions for folks to check in with each other a little more and to get much more of a personal life or so on, more of that sharing built into your work meetings itself, right? So that is one thing. Second one is a lot more frequency of interactions and shorter interactions. In the past, if you had one weekly staff meeting, which is what I used to have, for example, with my team, I now have 3 shorter meetings spread throughout the week. That kind of constant interaction is better, at least during the period that we are in COVID. That seems to be working out more. And then a lot more attention, especially for new hires as they come into the organization. And so you want to spend a lot more, I think, especially for team leaders, to focus a lot more on recognition, right? And recognition doesn't always need to mean that you give them like a big performance rating or a bonus or whatever. It can be really about taking out time and calling out what people have done, right? And so all of those make people feel like they care. And especially because isolation has become like such a big issue with COVID. Of course, for many people, their personal situations are such that they're already feeling isolated, not able to meet not just people from work, but also people in their families too, right? And so one of the most surprising things that we found, Jajan, was we thought that our Googlers who were living on their own would be the ones that are feeling most isolated. And certainly, quite a few of them do. But surprisingly, we found that parents felt really isolated. And because that feeling of isolation is as much emotional as it is about physical. I think for parents, it actually feels like, okay, the world is on me, right? I don't have, many of them, at least in the US, for example, schools are still closed. They don't have access to childcare, and they feel that they're completely alone and trying to do everything on their own. And so that is the feeling of isolation they were experiencing, even if it was not physical isolation. So really important question. I don't think we have all the answers out here, but I would say, as the questioner points out, all of us need to really be thinking about how do we stay together better while we're all dialing in through video all the time.